Speaking of excitement, speaking of fun, Man United sacked Dan Ashworth this week. United have also lost back-to-back games. LB, I'd love to get your take on this. A lot of people have said it's a shambles that Ashworth has been sacked. What do you make of it?
The situation is a shambles. We don't know whether the decision to sack the guy is a shambles because we don't truly know what's going on. Now, the club are going to put out PR, right? Because they're going to have to get the fans on side by sacking him. So they're going to put out statements like, he wanted Southgate. They're going to put out stuff like, he signed this guy who's a failure. He kept this guy who he wanted to sell, but he's now really rubbish. They're going to basically smear the guy's name because that's how big business works. You know what I mean? They've got to keep the customers / fans, on side. And they're going to do that by just saying this guy's trash. And he's probably going to have to take it. He's probably been paid off or whatever. The question is, we don't truly know what's gone on the inside. Ultimately, I don't think United fans have got any other option than to back INEOS' decision to sack him. Because, what else are you going to do? Start an INEOS out? I mean, you just had Glazers out for 20 years. Well, you're going to start INEOS out now as well. Like, I think you've got to trust them at this moment in time that you've got to put your trust in them. Otherwise, what are you going to do? So for me, I don't really know on whether he should have been sacked or not because I'm not reading into any of the PR that's going out there because it is PR. But yeah, as to whether or not it was the right decision, we'll never probably know. The options that United fans have got now is to just, forget about it and trust INEOS and believe that it was the right decision, or say, no, it wasn't, and get INEOS out. You know what I mean? In which case, you're going to enter a new battle, a new war, more energy speaking about the owners. If it was me personally, if I was a United fan, I'd just allow it. I'd just say, right, it is what it is. Back INEOS on this. Have INEOS got off to the greatest of starts? No. But it's still early days. Let's see what they do in the next 12 months, 18 months. And then if they keep making errors or the team's not getting any better, then maybe you are going to have to start looking at INEOS. But if it was me, it is kind of blind faith. In the chat, Braff says blind faith. It is kind of blind faith at this moment in time. But you're going to get INEOS out already after, a year or whatever. Maybe you want to do that, fair enough. I'm not telling people not to be INEOS out, but, I mean, it'd probably be funnier for me if you were INEOS out. But I just think that you should just trust the board at this moment in time. But having said that, they're already on thin ice for me because I think the way that they've handled the whole situation since they've come in, keeping Ten Hag, the signings, and then sacking the guy 5 months after you paid whatever you paid for him is poor. So they're on fraud watch, as some people would call it. But, for me, I just sort of lower the weapons, man. Lower the weapons. You've been in a fight for 20 years. I just chill out at this moment in time.
Yeah, I quite agree. I don't think anybody really have an understanding of what the hell's gone on there, 100% of it. But look, when that Southgate stuff come out, I think LB's right, really. I think they had to try and put something out there to make it look like, see, we had to get rid of this guy. He wanted to hire this clown. Whether we believe that's right or not, I have no idea. What I will say is I don't think it looks good. That people were bigging up Dan Ashworth. Oh, my God, he's here to save Manchester United. He's part of the structured team that is going to take Manchester United to the top. And then if only a matter of months, if not weeks, this guy's gone. Bizarre. Don't really understand what's gone on there. And I will say that I think that this INEOS start, there has been some good things and there's also been some bad things, man. There really has already that we look at. The first one was keeping Ten Hag and wasting the first 10 to 12 weeks of the season, which everybody knew was going to happen. That was not a good decision. So, look, I don't know what happens now and if you bring in somebody else or what goes on with that, if you've moved somebody into the role. I don't really know what is going on at Manchester United, if I'm honest. But I will say that on the pitch, things need to change. And as much as I think Aaron great, I think the squad is very poor. And that's where I'll be looking at with my question marks more than what's going on behind the scenes, because that squad, it ain't looking good, Tel. I can't lie. It ain't looking good.
That element I agree with, that that they're really struggling under Amorim, which I feel for the medium to long term is a good thing, as long as the club are pulling in the right direction. When it comes to Dan Ashworth, some are saying it's PR that he's gone for partly for decisions like keeping Ten Hag. for some of the recruitment decisions. And between then and, even his suggestions and the replacements he wanted for Ten Hag not kind of meeting the requirements of the ownership. I can understand why people would see that as PR, but clearly he hasn't done a good enough job to impress the owners and they've moved him on. He was credited for the way he got Xerxes cheaper for us and that deal. He was credited by the people that like Ten Hag for, okay, well done, you're giving him time. We're going to put a structure behind that manager. But it didn't work out. I agree that we've made a mistake in hiring him. I was really excited and confident that he could do a good job. But again, I'm not doing the interview. I'm not doing the due diligence. The where I would criticize INEOS is, how are you not having a conversation with him about who we would bring in as a potential replacement for Ten Hag if he was to go? How are you not asking that question? That's where I'm focused. The positive to this is that he hasn't done a good job, according to them. And in fairness, we haven't progressed this season. We should have got rid of the manager. Amorim should have been given a pre-season. And some of our summer signings haven't looked good enough. The fact that we've got rid of him this quickly is no different to what multiple other members of the top 6 have done for internal members of staff that have done bad jobs. I've seen all of your clubs, whether it be new head scouts or, new chief of recruitments, technical directors. If everybody just goes and researches Liverpool in that area, Arsenal. I remember when Arsenal got a guy in, I swear he was from Dortmund. And everyone was look who we've gone and got. A few months later, he was gone. But then you look at the players.
Yeah,
but then you look back. You then look at the signings that he made or that he recommended. They didn't work out. So you now look back with hindsight and say, I understand. I understand why, as an example. The idea that INEOS are on fraud watch, I get it. I understand it. And I'm watching them closely as well. I have faith in them, but I'm still watching them closely. So I will criticize what they're getting wrong. For instance, I've called out massively what they've done in regards to ticket prices. That, for me, is too steep an increase and is wrong. And I condemn it wholeheartedly. But some of the other things I'm seeing Man United fans get angry about, and even more frustratingly, rival fans taking the moral high ground on, my head's hot, bro. My blood is boiling. Oh, we got rid of loads of staff. Yes, read the reports, read the articles. Staff members who were doing nothing to increase the revenue of the football club or save it money. Man United are not a charity. No business is a charity, no matter how big or how small. You do not and should not employ people that are not enhancing your organization in one way, shape, or form, no matter how big or small you are. We've been begging as Man United fans to have ruthless owners who cut the legs off of people making mistakes. We do it, suddenly it's a problem. How come we got rid of somebody after 5 months after chasing them? Well, we made a mistake. But most clubs in the early stages make mistakes. And I saw, this is one of the funniest quotes I've seen on this, right? Where is it? Let me find this here. I think this is the one. From the Telegraph, it says, one Man United staff member said, if they are prepared to do that to a sporting director hire at great cost after 5 months, what about the rest of us?
That's good.
Well, do your fucking jobs right then. Everyone at the club. Right. And I'm hearing Man United fans go, well, what about the players? We can't just get rid of all the players and have no squad, you fucking morons. That's going to come in time. We've been asking for a ruthless owner who cuts people out for their mistakes. We start cutting people out for their mistakes or doing bad jobs or not being good enough, and we start to cry about it. And then rivals and the media. Do you know what? Some of you can go suck on your mum's big toe, and I mean that wholeheartedly, right? Let's look at our owners. I'm not saying everything they've done sits comfortably with everybody on a moral level. But let's be honest. And let's look across the breadth and width of Premier League owners, right? We've got some who fund governments who push genocide. We've got others who face serious accusations, including murder. Murder! And fans of those clubs have the audacity to say, aren't INEOS a disgrace? They cancelled a Christmas party. That's where we're drawing the line. At Christmas parties being cancelled.
Yeah, but why are they cancelling the Christmas party, man?
We don't deserve it. No one at Man United deserves a Christmas party. We're a shambles.
Oh, yeah, but Peggy does in reception. Why are you cancelling her Christmas party, mate? Yeah, Bruno Fernandes and that might not do, but what about the other stuff?
I understand that it's not everybody's cup of tea, but I am not going to sit there and look at this virtue signalling moral posturing bullshit. Because when you look at the owners of all of our clubs, we could do 10 minutes research on every owner, whether it's tax avoidance or funding a government or a particular politician nobody likes, or investing in something to do with arms, or, oh my God, they made the price of maize crash in this country, whether it be their connection to the government or royal families of particular countries and the laws and rules they have on a moral level. By the way, I don't condemn the owner of any club. I don't care where they're from. I don't care about I don't call any of that out, never have done. I don't care about Arsenal's owners, where they're from, who they support, who they vote for. I don't care about Brighton's owner and whether he's a conservative, whether he's Labour, whether he funds this, that, or the other. I don't care about the Middle East owners. I would happily have one at Man United. I've visited those parts of the world. I don't throw the stones. But don't sit there as a fan of any of those clubs and start pointing the fingers at INEOS and saying, they've made a disgrace, they've made a few redundancies, and they sacked a millionaire sporting director after 5 months. This is not how a club like Man United should be run. Where the fucking hell were you for nearly 20 years when the Glazers were pillaging the football club, lumbering it with debt, allowing one of the greatest sporting institutes of this country to rot? Where was your fucking moral high ground then? Where was your opinions? Where was the articles then? Where were you calling them out then? Suddenly we get someone who comes in, and I'm not saying they're perfect. I have condemned them, as I've just done in my little ranty speech. But where were the articles before that? These guys are trying to fix Man United, whether people like it or not. And this is what my message is to Man United fans. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to hire people that don't work out. They're going to sign some dud players. There's going to be, especially in the beginning, in the building of the structure, there's going to be mistakes. We've all hired someone, and a week, a month, a year later gone, they weren't what I thought they'd be, and got rid of them. But please don't be suckered in by the moral posturing and the kind of pseudo-moralistic bullshit that's coming out of rival fans in the media. They didn't do it to the Glazers when they knew they were ruining us. Why do you think they're doing it now? It isn't to protect Man United. It's because there's a fear they might, just might, get us back to near the top. So don't be so pathetic and weak. Call out the things that are wrong. I saw another lie this week. Oh, they're trying to get the taxpayers to fund their new stadium. That is a complete and utter piece of bullshit. And it's already been debunked. I'm just sick to my back teeth. We are making mistakes. The team ain't in a good position, and we should be calling that out. But rivals trying to stand on this fucking ivory tower and point down and go, look at them bad owners there. Look at them bad owners. Whilst ignoring what they have, shut the fuck up.
Mate, there's a couple of good super chats as well that will be nice to segue into, just unless you see them. Because I tell you, man, that is a rant and a half. There's a couple of people that are actually like, try and put a positive spin on this. I can't remember what one it is now.
INEOS are inept at managing sports teams. They have turned great teams in Formula One, cycling, etc., into mediocre teams. And look, I've seen this be reported as well, and that's fair enough. That's a criticism that you can label. And I'm not going to argue
research into this, by the way, because I get this a lot. People did he own Lille or someone like that?
He owns. They own Nice. I mean, this is the thing. Right? I have done research into it, and again, when it comes to Formula One, I spoke to David, who comes on our shows, who, listen, he used to work for a Formula One team, right? So I've asked him about it, and he kind of said it's not as simple as people are making out. It isn't just because INEOS were involved. It's certain sports they've been involved in. They've been good teams. They've taken over. They continue to be good. But then there's been rule changes and all types of other things that have gone on. But the thing is this, if somebody just says, I don't like INEOS because of their previous track record, I can accept that as an opinion. It's when people start lying. They're not trying to get taxpayers to pay for a new stadium. The idea that sacking people that are not doing their job properly or a good enough job or are not needed is somehow this terrible action and that it makes them disgraceful and bullies. I'm going to push back against it because that's a lie. And rival fan... sorry, mate, go on.
So this guy, Jared, Built Jared, he's basically saying INEOS are trash, right? Have INEOS... Genuine question, because I don't know, I'm a City fan, right? Have INEOS had any success in sport? Genuine question.
Cycling, sailing, F1, they've had success in those sports. I mean, I've read, again, depends on what you read.
Well, this guy's telling us he's not. He's saying they've turned a great team F1 cycling to mid-teams. That's the... So, have they had any success?
I read something the other day. I've got to go back and look at it. Do I know it off by heart? No, I don't. Let me just go and find this now. But again, as you say, everybody will have a different view of these things. Hang on a second. Here we go.
INEOS are in Mercedes in F1, aren't they?
Yeah, so this is INEOS have achieved. This is what I read here. It says INEOS have achieved significant success across various sports strategy investments and partnerships. In cycling, formerly Team Sky, this team has secured multiple Grand Tour victories. I don't know what that is, but I'm just reading what it says, including Tour de France and the Italian version under INEOS's ownership. They continue their dominance with such wins between sort of 2019 until now. In sailing, in October 2024, INEOS Britannia won the Louis Vuitton Cup. Now, I don't know how big that trophy is, right? I don't know about sailing, right? But it says, okay, marking the first time in 60 years that a British team has secured a place in the America's Cup match. So again, look, I'm not an expert on sailing, but for the first time in 60 years, INEOS have invested in sailing, and it's the first time in 60 years a British boat has got into a certain race. That doesn't sound bad. In athletics, they've had some success there. Formula One, it says INEOS became a principal partner and equal shareholder in Mercedes Formula One team in 2020. With Nice, we understand with Nice, they've not got them to a level yet that we would look at and go, that's amazing. They've been sort of partners with New Zealand rugby team since 2001. I don't know how good New Zealand has been at rugby since then, as an example. So look, as I say, when I look at this and I've done some reading on it, there's some good things, there's some bad things. I'm not going to sit there and deny that. I've never sat there and gone, they are amazing. There's nothing wrong they've done, and they shouldn't be criticized. And this here from Rumi says, you can't say INEOS made a mistake by keeping Ten Hag and then criticize them for firing the man who pushed to keep him. Well, no, again, Dan Ashworth pushed to keep him, and they gave him the power in his role to make that decision, and they went with it. I thought it was wrong. It's turned out to be the wrong decision. Therefore, it's part of the reason why Dan Ashworth lost his job, because he made a catastrophic mistake that's cost us multiple millions of pounds and written off, as LB said, when we were sacking Ten Hag. You basically written off a whole season of development. So the man's lost his job over it. I'm not criticizing the opposite thing. I am stating that if the reports are true, that Ashworth is the one who pushed to keep him, and look what's happened since, then you deserve to be fired. That's not wrong in my personal opinion. Chelsea sacked Vavell after about 5 months. Yeah, and how many sporting directors did Liverpool go through between Edwards and Edwards returning? I swear it was a couple. But yet everyone looks at that as it's okay. I don't know about Man City, but I remember in your early years under the Sheikh, there was a lot of comings and goings and problems. I remember, who was it at your club who sent a disgraceful email out?
Gary Cook.
To about Nedanua's mum when she had cancer. Like, we have all, and I'm not trying to have a pop at City. I'm pointing out that in the early stages of club restructuring, there have been problems, bad appointments, issues. The idea that Man United suddenly, oh my God, isn't it amazing? No one else has these problems. It's just bullshit.